and then Josh Allen with Buffalo. That is going to be a long decade unless you fix the quarterback position, at least even the talent level. That's why I think they're going to be abnormally aggressive. And I look at the NFC teams, because I don't think an AFC team is going to be like, come on, New England. I don't think the Bengals or the Dolphins are going to be like, come get your quarterback, right? Like, I look at 10 with the Dallas Cowboys, or I look at 11 with the New York Giants and going, okay, NFC teams that are above the 15th pick, and New England's got to have a specific quarterback that they want. Hearing Coach Belichick talk, I don't think it's any quarterback. I think it's going to be a very specific player that they say, you know what, we had him ranked as the 3rd or 4th or 5th pick in this draft, and he's fallen for some reason. We need to go get him right now, and that gives us a chance over the next decade within our division.
Okay, so there's so much to unpack in that. Mike T., let's start as one who has made these calls and made these deals with the actual logistics of doing it. You just heard Bill say, well, if a player gets to 12 or 13, that's one thing. But I think most of us expect they would have to go up higher than that to get the quarterback they want in this draft. So how does this work?
Yeah, I disagree with Dan. You can trade within your conference, and I think the hot spot starts at 8 with Carolina and 9 with Denver, and it's a perfect win-win. If I'm Carolina, I've upgraded Teddy Bridgewater, Sam Darnold, and I flip 8 and 15 for next year's first-round pick. New England goes up and gets their quarterback. Let's say it's Trey Lance. So now they have their quarterback of the future. Carolina is at 15 with Sam Darnold. And what's great about that, Greeny, if I'm Carolina, I have my quarterback, and next year I have an extra one. I lose the 2 and a 4 for Darnold, but I have a better quarterback, and I'm in a better position next year. So I think that's a win-win. 15 and 8 is a key spot in this year's draft.
I agree. And the way Matt Rule has been talking in Carolina, he sounds like someone who's inviting all comers to come and get that 8th pick because he's threatening to take a quarterback, which I don't believe he would do. Field Yates, what do you think?
Yeah, first of all, Greeny, I'm with you as well. You think the Panthers are going to trade for Sam Darnold, who was in some ways undone by the circumstances around him, and then immediately draft a quarterback who could replace him? I'm not buying that either. So I do think the Panthers are a logical trade down candidate if a team like New England wants to move up. I think the Patriots certainly would be motivated to find a quarterback in the first round of this year's draft. But Greeny, I want to remind everybody that last year, we know that when it comes to the NFL draft, rarely are there guarantees, but all of us surmised the Patriots were definitely going to take a quarterback at some point last year. They took none. They waited until late June to sign Cam Newton to compete and eventually beat out both Brian Hoyer and also Jarrett Stidham. I think the Patriots would be motivated to find a quarterback if the board falls in a certain way. I just don't know that I see a substantial trade up from the Patriots 7, 8, or 9 slots in the first round. Bill Belichick, as we heard, laid out that scenario where a guy might fall to 10, 11, 12. The price to move up wouldn't be as precipitous, and maybe in that case, the Patriots do find a quarterback that could compete and potentially start right away in week 1 over Cam Newton.
Dan, why the face?
Everyone has said that this draft is loaded at the quarterback spot. Those first 4 or 5 guys are quote-unquote can't-miss players. And I've heard people say, well, the next year in college football, when it comes to guys coming out, isn't great. So you have to go get your quarterback this year. Like, if you're New England, how do you sit there within your division and know that Tua, who's going to have way more weapons and a good rookie year, Zach Wilson, who's very intriguing and talented, and Josh Allen in Buffalo, how can you sit there and go, we feel okay? Like, Phil, to your point, they didn't address the position last year, and the season did not go well. If they don't address it this year, the season's got a chance to be better, but you're still looking at a division where you are going to be at the bottom at the quarterback position when it comes to talent. Okay, so New England's got to at some point, and if New England thinks they're going to be a better football team next year than they were last year, you're not choosing at 15. You're going to have to make an even bigger jump if you want to go get a quarterback eventually. And I'm not going to sit here and think that New England is going to strike lightning in a bottle twice, or catch lightning in a bottle twice, so to speak, and take a lower round quarterback and have him become an absolute superstar like they did with Tom Brady. At some point, they're going to have to address the position with a talented young player.
Go ahead, Field. Why were you shaking your head?
Yeah, first of all, I never buy into next year's draft class doesn't look great. Greeny, go find me all the experts that had Mac Jones going 3rd overall a year ago at this time, and those that were talking about Zach Wilson in the same breath as Trevor Wilson. Every year, quarterbacks emerge. Just look through the past 5 drafts, and you'll find the Kyler Murrays and the Baker Mayfields and the Joe Burrows. So I don't care about what the early look is on the 2022 NFL draft class of quarterbacks relative to this year. And then, Dan, you know this as well as anybody. Quarterbacks, this is not like just because we on the outside believe there are 5 quarterbacks that are first round, no doubt about it, players. If a team doesn't feel as convicted and strongly about a player to move up as we might, then teams are not going to pay the price.
Right.
And I get it. After last year, but hold on, Dan, one thing. After last year, and I understand how this might come across as borderline radioactive with the way that Cam Newton finished last season, I think the Patriots believe there is at least a chance. I'm not talking about a 99% chance, but some chance that Cam Newton, with a full offseason and familiarity and being healthier and having legitimate weapons around him and understanding that system, could be an improved player. He's not going to be Super Cam, the MVP again, but they didn't bring him back just to make him feel good about himself. They brought him back. I understand the price point was not significant, but because they think there's a chance Cam could be closer to the player he was during the first 3 weeks of last season, when this team looked to be kind of what we thought they could be, a team that had a chance to make the playoffs yet again.
Let me get something in here quickly, Mike T. Before I come to you, I just want to throw one more thing into the discussion, and then I'm coming right to you. I just want everyone to see. Chrissy, can we put the full screen up there? Yesterday, and this is what I was alluding to in the tease, Las Vegas made a very interesting move. Caesars Sportsbook by William Hill shifted the odds to where Justin Fields from Ohio State is now the favorite to be the 3rd pick in this draft, which could change everything to the extent of what we're discussing. We're sitting here talking about all these quarterbacks in Bill Belichick's mind as though they're all one and the same. But to your point, Field, there may be one he likes better than another. And if that was Fields, now all of a sudden Vegas is telling us he's not the one who's dropping. I just wanted to throw that into the mix. Mike T., go ahead.
Yeah, and Bill Belichick, to that point, Greeny, is nothing if he's not opportunistic. And mark my words, guys, there will be a massive discount in what it takes to move up during the draft than what we saw in that San Francisco-Miami trade. So to your point, Greeny, if it's Justin Fields that goes 3, and let's say they love Trey Lance at 8, for him to go from 15 to 8 on draft night will be about 30% of the cost of what San Francisco did. And what's Bill Belichick? He's smart and opportunistic. And if it's within reason to just give up 1 first-round pick, and let's say it's for Trey Lance, you can win today with Cam Newton, and I agree with Fields, he'll be improved. And now you have the quarterback of your future in Trey Lance at a very reasonable price.
And let me finish it with this, and we have all morning to keep doing this, and I could do it frankly, I could do it for a month. But Dan Orlovsky, let me just throw this at you.
Yes.
Take the first 2 out of there. Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson are going to be off the board. Of the other 3 quarterbacks that could be in this mix, which one do you think Belichick wants? If he could have his choice of any of the 3, Mac Jones, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, in your opinion, knowing his offense and knowing the players, which one do you think he wants?
I think he wants Trey Lance. I think Trey Lance fits a lot of what they're trending towards, or what my belief of what they're trending towards to being on the field is a kind of a dual threat quarterback run game implemented style in New England. And I think Trey Lance fits a lot of what they want to do schematically moving forward. And I think that also the untapped potential, we have the ability to finally develop a quarterback that is super talented would be very intriguing to him and Josh McDaniels. And I don't think it's Bill Belichick's decision, so to speak, Greeny. I want to make that very clear. I think this is Josh McDaniels' decision. Okay, Josh McDaniels went for a long time calling plays with a certain style of quarterback, Tom, right? And he had a ton of success doing it. Last year was the first year that he called plays with a different style of quarterback.